I'm good, thank you. What about you?
I'm doing good too. Okay, we have I guess we'll get the recording started. I think we're still waiting for Lilith, but let's go ahead and welcome our two new people here today. Well, actually, Vidi, this is your show. I'll let you.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
sir. Okay. Today's 6th of July. We have RM Scrum today. Thank you for coming. Thank you to Katendi, and also we have Frida here joining us in RM Scrum. Maybe we'll start first. Actually, Lilis is supposed to be my secretary. So because we only have two members, right? So, Frida, if you would, could you please try? Let's see if you can try to assist Lilis on that one and write little bit on the meeting notes.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know where the meeting notes is?
Yeah. Yeah. I already know. I
Right.
already.
Okay. Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Frida.
Welcome.
Okay. So maybe because Katendi is already here as our guest speaker, we'll go through Katendi's idea discussion, which is this one. Katendi, can you please explain?
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Vidi, for the time and then for let me join to the Scrum. So yes, today I have an idea that to bring up to the HCR that actually since we don't have any target yet to achieve, that's like we don't know like how much that we need to push ourselves like to motivate ourselves like is it for example like so this is the big deals so okay the budget not fit or something and then like should we just keep this gas to find or something so yeah I just want to make the all the SAR team like they have the motivation to make a dealing more dealing like because I know what's called RM team that try hard to set the price and everything then the the final execution is on the SCR, right? To execute and then get the dealing and then yeah. So I would like to propose that we have a target something like maybe I know it's hard to set the target if on this situation because we don't know the situation, right? But if or I don't know like if you have any idea or using some method like maybe the history like maybe it's not make sense to use the history last year but maybe I don't know like how we project like this month maybe for example like last year for the May to June there's increase like 10% maybe we can use our May revenue just increase 10% or something that yeah maybe we can use it something so we have the target on HCR then we work together to achieve try to achieve that target yeah so like that really.
Okay, thank you very much, Katendi, for the explanation. So yeah, okay. Welcome, Lilis. I believe Lilis is already here. And do you want to stop in, like, do you want to substitute Frida on the note taking, or?
Yeah. I'll substitute Frida because I think this is her first time, so I just want her to observe first.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you for helping out, Frida.
Yeah.
Okay, so to answer Katendi's question, so we actually do have a revenue projection kind of for the month of July, right? And we made it using the whole printers method. Let me show you a little bit on how it works. Actually, Mr. Jing actually showed it on our all hands before, but that one was prior to the month of July. So I'm not sure whether the projection applied there. Let's see. So we've done some projection for the month of July, but again, this is experimental, and we RM does not have any decision yet whether to use this as a revenue goal yet. But we believe that a whole twin term model, which has the parameter of we call it T12 basically. We believe that it predicts for 24K in the month of July 2020. And maybe first I would like to ask Mr. Jing whether he wants to use this projection or you want to use the usual calculation instead.
A good question, Vidi. Actually, I was thinking about just the galaxy of projections, and also I was thinking about also what Tendi specifically is looking for. So having gone to the morning sync up with the HR team, Tendy is looking for a way to unify his team to get more efficiency and more revenue out of the parts that HAR can control. So my recommendation is essentially related around structure. So we have a certain type of prediction that Holt Winters is predicting, and that's based on sort of understanding, let's say, uh, understanding ourselves as passive actors. I think, right? As mapping, like we're not going to take any active input into this. So what I believe Tendy is doing is he's looking on ways of how do we actually become more active actors in determining our revenue. So this is a prediction based on, let's say, signals of the past and understanding of where the line is probably going to go based on past performance. I don't think we shouldn't forget that we have an active part that we can play to improve this performance as well. And that part is in things such as what percentage of inquiries are we converting? How many, how much, what is the potential revenue from extensions, from new types of deals that we can make? Basically, things that HRR can control. So, from that, what I want to do is I want to think about what's a realistic goal that challenges HAR to not go where we think the ball is going, but where the ball could be if they really push for it. So that's sort of like the thought process in my mind. I do not know at this point if Holt Winters accounts for, let's say, okay, I would structure it differently for what Tendy is asking for. I would structure it for what do we predict we can achieve given that, let's say, we have the same historical performance and achievement in our reservation and hospitality teams. What is the potential if we could get, let's say, better achievement? And what is a realistic band that would lie between? To give you an example, let's say, for example, we say we predict 20,000. That's 20,000, I guess, also based on the same type of performance that we've gotten in the past. The HR team doing exactly what they've done. But what is the percentage or what is the capacity of revenue at high performance, at let's say 100% inquiry conversion or a higher inquiry conversion, at extensions of existing reservations? So that part, I think we need to do a little bit of data analysis to kind of determine how far more we can extend the runway. So yeah, that's the nuance of difference, I think, between what we predict, but also between what we can predict and what we can achieve.
That's actually really interesting, sir. So, are you trying to say we are trying to predict something that we can achieve? Like how different it is from the prediction you made using the previous algorithm, where you check the left and right loop, for example?
Sort of. This is what I think a second order system actually is, if I'm not mistaken. So let's say this, sir. Let's say to use a little bit of physics. Let's say, for example, you're trying to project. You're trying to sort of understand the trajectory of a boat, right? Based on the sails, based on the wind, the waves, and the currents. So you're trying to figure out where this boat will go. But let's also not forget that we have oars on this boat, right? We can push ourselves a little bit harder in the right direction if we have some oars on the boat. So then, by saying, all right, by looking at where the boat might go just based on wind and ocean currents, that might not actually be true if we say um, we're going to direct ourselves towards this direction with our oars. So that's part of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to determine where would we go if we didn't paddle at all? Where would we go if we tried to paddle harder? And where is it possible to land if we paddle hard? And where is it likely to land if we don't paddle? So that I think that can give us a better range. of
I
where,
see.
yeah.
Uh, I think there is one thing that there's just one thing that is like bugging me actually, because the prediction made by this model actually covers the encapsulation of that peddling. If you're trying to say that the model does not take account on that, it means that our past data uh, does not include that kind of effort or that kind of force.
Well, actually, I would open up that for a question. Does the test data, because if we're going to try harder right now, right? If we're going to try to do like, we're going to close more deals. We're going to try to aim to get a higher conversion rate, and that effort is calibrated. Does that or that effort is applied? Would that still get us the same results as before?
Hmm. Do you, uh, do you think that the revenue that we attained before was attained through that same kind of effort, or
Well, this is where it breaks down into kind of a chicken and the egg question. I'm wondering, right? So let's say Tendy's looking for a specific goal that he can go for, so that he can motivate the team to go in that direction.
yep?
What I believe is possible is there is a result that's going to happen. Well, let's say for example, right? If we add a super reservation person onto the team that gets 100% inquiry conversion, would we expect the model still to predict on the end revenue given that change? Um,
No, because we do not have that super host prior to July,
Right. But let's say
right?
now we can motivate our team to become more like that. So they have a goal, and then we tell them, hey, look, this is essentially what we believe you can do. This is how much you can actually attain. This is how much influence you have. And so then we sort of take into account where the model would bring us without that influence, and then we set a goal for the I guess the expected influence that would have on the positive side of the outcome, right? So let's say by oh, it could be just a simple thing. Let's say we spend 2 more hours each person a week doing reservations, right? So we maybe expect that the conversion rate would improve by 20%. So then, what would that 20% improved conversion rate translate in terms of the end revenue outcome?
Yeah, I think it's difficult to. Hmm. But I believe that the past data actually encapsulates that, right, sir? Because prior to like the revenue data prior to Corona, we're expecting people to perform with certain KPIs of conversion rate, which does not happen right now.
No, we have not actually. So we have not been measuring, and this is the point that attendees bring forward. So we have not been measuring KPIs on anything like on
Oh
inquiry.
no, I mean the past data.
Uh,
I mean prior to
oh,
Corona.
prior, yeah, I suppose, yeah, and those would be, let's
Yeah.
say,
So of course, if there will be some influence from that data to the prediction made right now.
correct. There would be some, but what I'm asking is essentially, okay, so if Tenny doesn't try and his team doesn't try at all, would there be any influence on the revenue prediction?
Of course, there will be because
That's what I'm thinking, right?
the model assumes that there is an effort based on the intrinsic data that is encapsulated by the revenue produced that in
Right. So then,
the
what is the
data set.
weight of that effort? That's what we're trying to understand. How much does that effort influence the end result? And then, can Tendi set a goal based on, let's say, the upper boundary of that effort so that he can motivate his team to achieve a new revenue?
Okay, that's actually the interesting part, like the interesting question. So what we're doing here using Holt-Winter's method, actually we try to smooth the uh, graph of the revenue alone. There is no, and the intrinsic input to the model is basically just the revenue of uh, t minus uh, t minus something,
Right.
right? And if you would like to add that kind of feature, for example, like conversion rate as the embodiment of HR effort, that would require a more complex model. That's why we try to use MLP, right?
Right, right. Okay. All right.
Because there in MLP you can have multiple inputs that has a lot of parameters and stuff like that.
Okay. So what if we do this then? Okay, so we don't have an explanation for attendee. So we have no way of setting, say, attendee, you should have a, you should, you can, you can lead your team to reasonably attain this type of goal if they try harder. Or, I don't,
Okay. A question, sir.
yeah.
So, you what do you guys do usually do in the past to like to attain the the goal that you set?
Prediction method that we previously did. So we take a
Oh
look
yeah, yeah.
at,
I mean, like, yeah. How do you what do you say to the team?
oh,
Like,
basically what we did before is at the beginning of the month, let's say at the beginning of July, we set a July revenue target, right? And we know that based on, let's say, initial, we know that we're starting off at a certain initial revenue for July.
yep,
And pre coronavirus, that revenue generally never went down, right? So we could say that
yep.
we probably will make no less than this amount. We then take a look at the weekly sales information to then predict how much we can do from our weekly
Oh
sales.
yeah, I understand algorithm, but again, referring to the part where you say, how much influence can HR do to reach
Oh,
that
okay.
revenue goal?
I guess before I didn't actually constrict it down just to HAR.
Oh,
I
okay.
took a look at essentially what was the growth. So what I see is this. I took a look at the overall company in terms of how it had been doing the previous year. I knew that we added in a steady amount of new supply, new employees, new techniques. So based on that, I created a guess, right? So usually it was like between 30 to 40 to 50%. Let's say 30 to 50%. So then I would input essentially that guess into the calculation and then see was that actually attainable or not. I would start with, let's say, the 50% mark. I would say, all right, July this year we have grown 50%. So then I look at, all right, how much did we make last year? Let's say 200,000. So let's go with 300,000 right now. Then I would break down and see, all right, what is our starting revenue in July? It is 250,000, right? So if it's 250,000, I would say, what is it likely that we're going to make within the month? We're likely probably to make, based on the left lobe, right lobe, 100,000, right? So then I would go, oh, okay, it looks like maybe we undercalculated a little bit. I would go back up and I would change the growth marker to, I don't know what 350 over 250, 200 is, but I would increase it, right? Let's say we did that exercise and we set a growth target of 50%. And so the end outcome is 300,000. And we start the month, let's say, with only 100,000, right? So then I know it's probably not possible that we're going to make up the whole 200,000 within the month based on left lobe, right lobe analysis. So then I would discount the growth until we reached essentially a value that seemed more tangible. So that was based on sort of like, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe let me try to rephrase Katendi's question here. It's trying to like, how do you input HR performance or impact to the revenue projection? So
Mhm.
because in the initial question, the one that we're seeing here in the screen, um, he only mentioned that we need a revenue projection for this month, but the comprehensive detail is like, um, is there a method to incorporate KPIs or any manifestation of HR performance to the projection we're making as a like relative to the performance of HR? How much will the projection be? Something like that, Katindi?
Yes, Yudi. So, like, I know in this current situation, maybe we cannot rely on the more on all on the Airbnb. So maybe uh, so like for all like we have inquiry on Facebook, Instagram, like how much that actually like how much can we can set the revenue target like for this
Mm,
month like that.
Hmm, that's interesting. Yeah, because so you're only asking for a certain number, right?
Yes.
Hmm. But because the revenue that we got from the month of, I think, May and June also takes into account revenues we get from other platforms other than Airbnb, right?
mm,
Yeah, that's
So
already got on bigger, I think. Yeah.
yeah. That's why, in a sense, if you're just asking for a number,
Yeah.
we can provide a number. But if you want to be more comprehensive in like what Mr. Jing said about um, how we're trying to put a measure, relative measure to HR performance on the impact of the revenue, I think that would require a deeper research. But yeah, for in this case, if we're trying to just formulate one number, we can try to double confirm with the usual method that Mr. Jing used and whether this number kind of complies to it or like maybe you can test it using the left loop and right loop or yeah other test method that is usually used against the previous model. Because in this, just to summarize for Katendi, so this model is not, I didn't have to count anything for this model, for this number. I just input the numbers that we have, the revenues that we have from this past 4 years or so. And then the model gives me a number for the month of July. I don't know how they find it. No, technically for this one, I know how because there's the calculation is very specific. But yeah, I don't have to count. But yeah, we can try to um, test this number whether it makes sense or not, like the previous method, and see whether we can use this one or maybe another number based on the growth, revenue growth of the previous month can be adjusted to a certain um, a more refined projection. That's why
mm.
I was saying like maybe Lilith can try to also apply the usual algorithm,
Yep.
although we also already have that particular number from the new model. That's what I think. Yeah, Mr. Jing.
Just curious, actually, Vidi, is a goal the same as a projection?
Uh, okay, that's okay. Because in the past, the projection becomes the goal, right? That's why you call it like self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep. Because, right, it's essentially that, right? There is that little bit of a. So when we create a projection, it's what we estimate will be likely to happen given, let's say, a systemic, given all systems being the same. But what we're always doing is we're also thinking about optimization, right? So it's a little bit, I feel like it's a little bit like an infinity snake, sort of like the snake is eating itself in a way, but it's always trying to like get the projection should always challenge, or the goal should always challenge the projection a little bit, right? So the goal should be, let's say, a little bit for internally, for inside of our company, right?
Yep.
Should be a little bit higher than the projection because then we will find ways to optimize our internal operations to deliver to that goal. And then I think the lower boundary projection is what we generally show to our partners, right? So we keep their expectations a little bit lower and we keep our expectations a little bit higher. That way we always remain within, let's say, a comfortable range of reality. But I think they're supposed to be the same, but one sort of is a little bit before the other.
I get what you mean, sir.
Yeah?
So okay, I agree. Yeah, I think I get what you mean. So the model assumes that again the it's we're doing things the way
Yes.
we have always done, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I think in this case we can try to set like a KPI or to how much you would like to set the growth, like growth is composite, right? You don't want the growth to be like, what do you call it? The other stuff like linear or something like that. You want the growth to be composite. So month after month, there is also always a continuous growth. So what's the usual KPI that you want to set for the growth of the company? Usually it's 50%, right?
Like I said, it's kind of iterative. So it depends on what I believe is achievable in the next 30 days at the beginning of the month. So if I see that, let's say, once again, if we have a starting, if we have a high initial starting revenue and when we have a fast weekly sales pace, then maybe the first initial target I set with a goal, I realize is too easily achievable, right? Like let's say, well, just for argument's sake, our goal is 300,000. Our initial revenue is 290, so we're going to exceed that no matter what. So I wouldn't set that as 300,000, right? Because that doesn't give a challenge to the team to go to. So I'd look at, let's say, all right, what is essentially a stretch of what we can currently do, but still is attainable. I think that's the care process in the goal. Even if the projection is likely to hit it or exceed, goals will always be a little bit higher than the projection if we start out with initial conditions that are very favorable for us to hit that projection. And goals will should always get closer to, let's say, a lower boundary if it's unlikely that we're going to hit that. So I think what it is it's a little bit like a chase, right? You set a goal, you look at the projection, and then you see, do you actually have the resources to achieve that goal? If not, then you create a new projection to see like you have it. And then the goal should always be just a little bit above, I think, what you would actually project to then encourage the company to optimize and think of ways to just create that extra growth. What actually creates growth is efficiencies, is team efforts. So it can be this person decided to learn a LinkedIn course, and maybe this person decided to use Russian translation. All of it added together creates that overall growth. Um, so what I'm trying to do is look at it holistically and just anticipate, okay, when all these factors merge together, what is a reasonable amount of expectation that we can say this can result in that amount of growth? The reason why it was so important, Vidi, in the previous BB3 is because we were investing a lot of things coming in, right? So we're investing in more people, we're investing in all these new properties to be onboarded. So because all these inputs should trigger growth, then that expectation, which is I think the margin between projection and goal, should always be there, right? Otherwise, all our efforts are not aligned. But given the fact that things are a little bit different right now, I don't know if that growth sort of factor is still present, and then that then makes it a little bit more tricky to figure out, like, okay, goal projection, how much leeway there is to this. Usually tend to actually to come back to the beginning because we're starting a new cycle again. Usually the easiest way to do this is just to just come up with any number, right? Just say I'm just gonna come up with this number, right? Or okay, we'll just say let's use Vidi's number right here, 24, and then at the end of the month, see what happens, right? And then understand, okay, did we exceed the goal? And if we exceeded the goal, could we have predicted it today that we could have exceeded the goal, right? If we're short of the goal, then the same question. Could we have predicted it today when we set the goal that we would be short of the goal? And then iterate on the method until that error starts diminishing. Um, but I think the final thing to note is that the projection um, of what we have, we just need to know what is the difference between projection and goal is the effort, right? And the amount of improvement that HAR can do. And I just need to know how much of that is it like a 5% swing? Is it like a 10% swing? Is it like a 30%? Is it like if HAR tried harder, would they be able to raise the revenue by 10%, by 30%, by 40%? That's essentially what's out there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually really good, sir. I just thought of something actually.
Yeah.
I think the problem boils down to whether you can quantify the effort, right?
Yeah, essentially.
And the this quantification of effort can be seen through several KPIs such as conversion rate, how many deals come through. You
New
can take in all
properties
the
onboarded,
yes,
new sources of revenue. The goal is to
correct.
create imagination, sir, actually.
Yes,
Especially to
yes,
create
yes, yes,
imagination. Because the system doesn't have imagination at the moment, right? The system is just looking at what we've done. The goal is then to create a sort of a margin for imagination, creativity, and doing things in a different way.
I think it depends on how much like how many orders you want to derivate the original problem. So we're talking about revenue, then you derivate the problem and you find that it takes into account various variables such as how many properties,
Yep.
how many like what is the conversion rate, and that itself has this has the gradient and or the acceleration. Then you can project for it again. Then you will try to say like okay, assuming that we have this kind of conversion rate, it only projects for the conversion rate that we're trying
Yep.
that we then we try to derivate that again to how many HERs, how many people do we actually have in progression, like in the progressing months. We can predict for how many people we will add in the future dates,
All right.
and then we will derivate it again to the capacity of let's say HR to employ more HRs, and it depends like on how deep. So yeah, it's from my point of view, and looking at the correlation, which is an interesting topic that I think we'll talk about soon. But uh, technically, with enough data uh, and quantifiable data, it could be done with a more complicated model that takes into account a lot of these
It's
things. But
slightly different though. I think it doesn't. The projection model is just project. I think it's okay actually. The projection
yeah,
model is what we essentially see what is going to happen if nothing changes, right? But then the goal model is slightly different. The goal model is to motivate a type of change in behavior to optimize for a new setting. I think for that, for example, Tendi, like how much money do we leave on the table every month? Let's just take a look at that. What is the total amount of unconverted inquiry value? And let's say we were able to just get a 10% improvement on that based on a more rigorous inquiry optimization process. So, yeah, okay, thank you. But it could also be new things that haven't entered the system too, as well. Let's say, for example, HAR says, hey, look, we found out that this type of property does really well. Whyana, go and get this type of property for us, right? Because this will sell really well. So then it's essentially like where to point and how to get better at pointing. Okay, so yeah, like we can see, 100% of like our inquiry conversion rate is it's far, far, far below what we should be, right? Should be at like I think 25%, right? So even if we could get, let's say, squad one's inquiry conversion rate up to SLA standards, how much improvement could we expect from that? Squad three, I suppose, is normal. Squad four has no inquiries coming in at all. Back to Vinny.
yeah, I guess if we can try to like observe like how how many did we miss from these unconverted inquiries, then we try to raise it by a little bit and see whether the values have any patterns.
Hmm.
Mm, yeah. So I guess to make it kind of short, like Katendi, like how far are we from you the kind of discussion that you're thinking that you think that you want to have with us?
I think that yeah, actually I just want to get like a number that makes sense for
Yeah,
us.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
That's why.
because yeah, either if not if that's achievable or not. So if not, if there is not achievable, then we will evaluate together like okay, where we are like maybe we lost some dealing on the Facebook, so we can discuss it on the HR how we will make better. And then okay, we lost some in inquiry on the Airbnb, so why that's lost? Okay, more people asking for on-site visit or something, then we can evaluate again. So actually this is I would like to, let's try a number first, then we will see like is that not achievable. For me it's okay because I know this is current situation as well, but this is a situation that can gather the SR team to more solid, that we can more evaluate, and then we try to find the best way for optimize our reservation like
Yeah,
that.
that's what I thought Katendi is asking, sir. That's why I
Oh yeah,
directed
yeah,
it.
yeah. That's it. That's it. Sorry. Yeah. If I've
Yeah.
introduced any noise, then that's exactly it. Yeah. So we just gotta
Yeah,
go.
because I thought that so there's one number, and HR will try to innovate around that. So do anything what like at any cost, do something to get that number, as opposed to um, yeah. For now, it's a really good idea. It increases morale. Yeah, Lilis.
Yeah, actually, I have the same understanding with UPD, but I also agree with Jing actually, because where we can gain revenue, right? It's from the inquiry conversion. I see that there's many inquiries coming, but as Jing said, that we cannot convert many inquiries. Maybe that's also can be a big project for HAR. I mean, analyzing on why we can't convert it, whether on the price or whether from the guest sides that they don't like the villa after visit. And from that kind of data, I mean the structured data, because I don't see any analysis on that actually on the inquiry itself. Having a number is good to be a motivation, right? But we have to set a reasonable and in quite quite, I mean, in a number that motivate us to achieve that, right? But I think that is very important to analyze the inquiry itself from my side. Yeah, because I
Oh
see,
yeah, yeah.
I always
Yes.
observe the inquiry on the toolkit. It is like the general information that I see in the front only. But I need I think we need to analyze it deeply. I mean, on why we fail to convert.
Yeah. About that, sir. Have you delegated Andre regarding the inquiry optimization on HR?
Actually, I would like to recant that delegation and put it to Lilith if possible, because I think currently the HR, I don't know if they're thinking about it as systematically as people in this chapter would. So what I think is the first step, I'm just guessing, right, at this point, is the first step that we can take is categorically putting the inquiries into different slots, right? Like what is the stuff that we could have converted? What is the stuff that is not converted? Like just being able to create some order and semblance. And from that, I think we can then coach what is the new behavior that we need to do in order to get the bookings done. Um, I think that requires, as Lewis just put, analysis and actually an understanding of looking at the previous set of inquiries that have come in and being able to categorically and systematically label them correctly so that we don't need to focus on, let's say, the ones that just can't be converted anyway because the person is asking like a silly question that's not relevant to the property at all. But what is it? Not just I think in the inquiries also, but to Tendi, are we asking guests to extend, right, as often as we should? Are we asking the guests to use another Bukit Vista property when the end of the month comes in? Or are we suggesting, yeah, are we suggesting to keep them within the network? So I think um, this might need some analytics background to be able to understand more thoroughly, and I'm not sure if Andre can do that by himself right now. So I guess okay, all right. What I'd like to do, I haven't worked on this for a while, and it's late, and I apologize for that. I need to get this under control. So Lilith, would do you have any more time on your plate, Like I'm not sure if I can delegate that to, because it looks like you have quite a few things.
Mm, yeah, sir. Sure, I can, but I think I will work with PD because I mean maybe PD has other way to optimize something on inside.
Okay, let's try this then. Yeah, Vidi, Lilith, if you guys have a faster data processing way of, let's say, compiling all the inquiries, looking at what's been converted, what has not been converted, and then being able to categorically create actionable insights to the team on what they can do to do better, then that would be great. Meanwhile, Tendi, on your side, I think the main actionable levers that we have are still the same: to provide good information to a guest, ask them to book, to then ask guests that are about to check out to extend within the right time, and to keep guests within the uh, the Bukit Vista network. So those, I think, are just common practices that we should do no matter what. It's kind of like pulling the oar. No matter what, pulling the oar will help you move the ship forward. Then over to Vidi and Lilith. Is that something that I'm thinking, if they had to analyze each inquiry by hand, that would take forever, right? Because there's like hundreds of them. Is there a faster way that we can approach inquiry analysis and inquiry optimization? I'll go over to Vidi first for comment.
So yeah, that's actually a project that Andre brought up to product development just today.
Really? Crazy.
So
Okay.
yeah, so we're trying to hook up the uh, every inquiry's response also to a Slack channel, right? But yeah, it's just been started, so we haven't collected data yet. Uh, yeah, I'll try to ask Abayu whether we can also parse old data.
Okay.
So usually it's incoming data, right?
Oh, yeah.
You parse it using format, and then it's passed to Slack. I'll ask Kawaii whether we can pull the like emails data from the past and convert it into
Okay.
readable. Yeah.
What we're looking at this point, Vidi, is probably about wait until March, about 4 months worth of inquiry data to see what it is that we're looking at. Okay, but before I actually assign you guys to delegate on this, I just want to double check: are we killing a mosquito with a I don't know, with are we over attacking this problem with? Is there a simpler way to, let's say, optimize the inquiry optimization?
With the inquiries one by one. Actually, it's far simpler, sir.
Yeah.
Because we only have like 10, 20 inquiries a day, perhaps.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Fantastic. All right. Then, if we read the inquiries one by one, over to Tendi. Tendi, if you read the inquiries one by one, how well do you think your team can be able to analyze, understand what they can do better?
Um, is it a percentage or?
I mean, let's say, for example,
Hmm.
what I'm asking Vidi and Liz to do is to help you with analysis, right?
Yeah.
So to be able to figure out, okay, what inquiries should be analyzed and done this way, because there's probably a lot of inquiries. But creating a system to actually analyze it would take quite a bit of time, I think, from Vidi and Lilith too as well.
Yeah.
So then, what I'm asking on your side is, do you think, as let's say, like getting everybody together and just reviewing all the inquiries and then agreeing how these inquiries can be answered, do you think that would work faster than waiting for Vidi and Lilith to analyze all the inquiries and giving you a solution?
Yes, I think so, sir.
Okay.
So we can on the HR we can scheduling like in the end of the month that we are together to evaluate like how's our performances and
I think a little bit more frequently than that,
okay.
Andy.
A week, one times a week.
Maybe, yeah, because what you're trying to do, remember, it's like why we had high frequency of sync ups
Yeah.
at the very beginning. You're going to change culture, right? So if you're going to change culture and you do it once a month, it will take 3 months to change the culture. So if you want to change the culture quickly and get, let's say, improved inquiry optimization, then shorter meeting intervals would facilitate that change. Okay, then let's make a decision, everyone. So we have either Vidi and Lilith will analyze the inquiries and create an inquiry sort of analysis, give it back to Tendi, and from there, Tendi can then break down like where his team needs to focus, or Tendi can then, or the second choice is Tendi sits down with his team regularly to look at inquiries that are not converting, and then discuss and figure out ways of actually getting a better conversion rate. Over to Lilith for this idea. Which idea do you prefer?
Mm, Actually, yeah, I think it's faster to do it manually because we don't
Okay.
have much inquiry for now,
Okay.
and maybe for the previous inquiries, maybe we can work with the HAR team to it's like parsing it manually, right? Like analyzing the text, right?
Right.
Um, so, uh, so for the path data, we have to RM and although HAR work together. I think it's better because HAR is, the member is bigger than RM, and
Right.
they can help to like parsing it manually, and then after that, maybe me and VD can help to analyze it.
Okay. Got it. All right. Over to Vidi. What do you think? Which idea or another?
Yeah, I agree. Correct. So in this case, I think parsing manually and also analysis. Maybe RM in a sense is just like how try to kind of structure, like look at the overall structure and see what formally how to tackle this problem. But again, we will need the experience and the touch off from HR.
Okay. This could be a good
Yeah.
cross-chapter collaboration. Then I think.
Yeah, and then maybe after the first phase done, which is the collaboration between HR and also RM, for the next step, Tendy's idea will be good, like twice a week, for example, doing analysis. Like there's one person on HAR that responsible for this week, and then next person for next week, just like that, sir.
Okay. I think that's a good idea. So categorically, it would be good, I think, to understand the ways of optimizing each inquiry. So maybe in like a particular, like the stacked bar graph that video is showing, how many of our inquiries require a content optimization? How many of our inquiries require a reservation optimization? How many of our inquiries are just not optimizable at all, right? And so that way we can kind of determine what needs to be focused on. But in the meantime, Tendi, I think the best thing is to review, maybe set a new rigor of meetings within the HAR for maybe 30 minutes twice a week, and then just get everybody together to discuss why did these inquiries not convert, and start figuring out ways of installing those best practices. I think I would like then, okay, if that's the case, I'd like to then appoint Tendi to that particular project. And Tendi, you can delegate it to somebody else on your team, but I will delegate inquiry optimization to you first. And from that, what I would hope that you can do is to set up a regular cycle to make sure that everybody on your team has knows the best practices and are using the best practices through their reservation cycle. I think as the leader of that initiative, the most important thing is just to monitor and bring up random cases so that we see, has this case been optimized to the best of your knowledge. I think that way you can get at least the team to all row in the same direction, right? So that there's no wasted efforts on the inquiry processing. Okay, so we've reached a decision, I think. Vidi and Lilith, you guys can schedule it, I think, at some time that suits your, when you guys are ready to pop that initiative card, do it whenever that's necessary. But I think this will allow Tendi to unify his team around a common idea, around a common practice. We still don't have that number for Tendi yet, though. So,
Yep.
uh, okay, we have 24,000 given, let's say, the current performance that we have. Tendi, I'll leave it up to you, right? Um, Pick a number greater than 24,000 based on what you think your team can achieve to increase the baseline, okay? If you believe that HAR can increase it by 10%, then add a 10% margin on top of that. If you believe that HAR can increase it by 20%, then add it on top. Let's get this ball rolling. We'll figure out how to make this projection more accurate after we take our first attempt. But I think the most important thing is we need to have a goal, right? Otherwise, people just okay, they're like they don't know where to go. Okay, Tendi, you set a goal based on 24,000 as a lower boundary, right? So that's based on what we've been doing before. Add a percentage of what you think it can do, and I would suggest probably between 5 to 10% for your first iteration, and see if we can get our processes to work more. We're going to cross the river by feeling the stones, ladies and gentlemen. So we don't know how to get across, but we're gonna try to figure out this first projection and then go from there. And then I think we'll have more data. We'll be able to figure it out as we go. Okay, that will give us a head start on the roadmap. All right,
Okay.
Tenny,
Thank you, sir.
did you get what you needed out of this?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Actually, I have another meeting, so thank you for the advice. Yeah.
okay.
And
Okay, thank you, Kak Andy.
thank you.
Let us know if there's anything else we can help.
Siap. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
coming, Tenny. By the way, yeah, I really
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
coming.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Okay, interesting conversation with Kak Andy just now. Yeah, totally agree.
Well, we
So
are
now,
doing what we said we should do, right? We're
yep,
collaborating
of
more.
course,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, and so now we're trying to look at the Trello card for updates. And I think Lilith is have to leave soon, so maybe we can start from Lilith's card first.
Okay.
From RMB30,
Okay,
Lilith.
right. From the Facebook card, actually, from Nadine's side, we the information is we can make a deal for Puri Sabina. It's actually the promotion using my account and my second design, and from that one, we're trying to pivot to using Nadine's account. What more? Uh, and also my account, and also I delegated to Gani to use the second posters, and also related to the link, the posting the links of Airbnb based on BD and Nadine. Maybe there is a shift of market from Facebook to Airbnb because of that link provided, but actually we don't have data for that, but that's any possibility. And then that's all the updates actually, and actually the deadline is July 10. So uh, from the HR side actually asked for like extending the deadline, but yeah, for extension, but I think we have to discuss it more since the inquiry is very low, whether we want to continue it or not. So that's from my first card. And then my second card is, this is a new card, which is working with agents to to convert more deals to maintain the revenue stream. So basically, this idea is based on my current project. My current deals. I'm working with uh, agent, which the name is Foursquare Bali Property. uh, Currently, I'm on a deal I'm on a negotiation to make 6 month deals for Villa SK9. The value is around 133 juta for 6 months, and uh, the four square Bali property actually asked for like to partner with us formally, and then I said that yeah, if we can make one success case, it is really possible to be considered in the future. So this card is like an initiative that to start that that partnership with for Square Valley Property. And what I know, for Square Valley Property has many guests, so it is like we have the supply, and then they will supply the guests. So maybe that can be a new revenue, a revenue way, a new way to gain revenue for Survive. So maybe if you guys have any comments on this, since this is new actually, and actually, previously we have discussed this, but because we don't see any chance to get revenue from this, and maybe there's high friction. Maybe you will, if you have comments, you can write it down on my card, or if you have comments right now, you can also comment in this gram.
Okay, so right, this is actually a new initiative by Lilis, and I believe she has also done some discussions with me. And for this one, this is we actually discussed this in the past, I think 2 months ago, when we were trying to think of ways to bring ourselves up the funnel. So basically, we're not just staying down and wait for inquiries or guests coming from Airbnb, but we're also trying to reach out to the guests, getting closer to the mouth of the funnel. For RMB30, that's a good thinking by Liz also, that there might be a shift in inquiries tracking, because we also pasted the Airbnb link right in the post, Facebook post. The only contradiction that we have is only that if someone inquires through Airbnb, they have to pay Airbnb extra money as opposed to deals directly for Facebook, right? So that's the only opposing idea to it. But hypothetically, it's still possible, but it will uh, be disadvantageous for the owner, or for the guest. But again, the stats shows that the inquiries through Facebook is quite minimal. So, sir, any comments for B10 or Frida maybe for RMB10, the new initiative?
I think we're doing the best we can. I mean, this
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I applaud Lewis for having 10 pivots. I think that's quite agile in terms of thinking and keep on going through it. I think yeah, it's the bit of yeah, we just gotta try different things until we finally find something that sticks. Yeah, so I think that's good.
Okay, thank you. Maybe from Frida or Mokwayan?
From me, actually, I still understanding like one by
Oh,
one.
I do have something actually. This is over to Lilith. I've noticed that sometimes we have initial success, but we don't have sustained success on certain things like probe listings. Initial success, but not sustained success. New long term deal. Do you think there's any reason for that, or is that just like is it like because I think you're breaking into a new idea. Does the follow up behind you need to be better so that like say the people in the team I don't know like is there because I know you do discover new ideas and these ideas result in initial revenue but I don't see continuous revenue from it or maybe I'm not privy to it yeah just quick question over to Lilith.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thanks. So, the probe listing itself is actually the pivot is the my previous card, which is the five scope inquiry optimization.
Okay, got
Yeah,
it that's right
that's the pivot,
yeah
and actually the deals. The Puri Sabina is the deals that resulting from continuing the probe listing.
okay got it
Yeah.
okay thank
So
you
that's the follow up for the probe listing actually,
yeah
sir.
okay thanks
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Sorry, Frida, just now you got a little bit cut off. What were you saying again just now?
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you put a little bit closer to the mic? Just a little bit closer.
Oh yeah, like I'm still understanding one by one the Trello card, the initiative in this revenue management chapter. So like, I still read uh the pivot, the what's it the steps, and yeah, that's all from me.
Okay, no worries. Thank you very much, Frida. And yeah, I believe Liz has answered Mr. Jin's question. Maybe from Wayan, any comments for this new initiative since it's pretty new?
I think I don't have comment. I agree because at the moment I'm working with Lilis in parallel, so we have the same actually initiative. Like we just support each other. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Wayan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, Mawai
Uh,
has other agent that working with Mawayan, and the card is basically to structure it more so we can like delegate it or like onboard new people to do this initiative. Actually, we do.
okay. Good thinking. So, yeah, just remember, just like the previous initiative with the Facebook group listing, once it gets kind of like outside of the locus or the scope, we can try to assign HR or perhaps other form of community people, those who deal with more with people more. just try to use this time to structurally think the workflow so that when you explain it or delegate it to a HR or community, there's already the workflow and that they can follow, something like that. So thank you, Lilis. Any other updates?
Yeah, for the last card, it is about, sorry, what is it? The
You
required
want
new proposal. So, based on the previous request from Jing, we already make the name, which is invitation pitch proposal and deck pitch. And then Mak Wayan will use this invitation pitch proposals to do follow up with with the property owner that appear on MD Leads Management, which come from Facebook ads, I think. Some of them because not responding to Wayana's call. So we plan to send the proposal by email, and then we'll look the feedback from that. And then yeah, I have question for you, sir. Actually, I heard before that you have a link that people can book if they want to discuss regarding Bukit Vista,
Yes, I
right?
do. Yes, I do. I would
Yeah,
happily share that too. That's our 3C culture.
yeah, that's the
We're-
city cultures.
Yeah,
So can you please help me to put that link on my card?
done. Yeah, I'll get it
Thank you,
done.
sir. Yep. So and then I
okay?
will revise the proposal by today, and Mawayan will use it by tomorrow.
Nice.
Right. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much. Maybe don't forget maybe to Mawayan to update the result of the pitch if it's already available, and let's see whether we can also improve the proposal at one point. Okay, thank you very much, Lilis. And we'll sing Frida's stack. I believe Frida is still observing, so there's still no initiative yet. Right? Okay. Yeah. So maybe for now we'll skip Frida's list first and go to Mr. Jing and update her.
Thank you, sir. So, updates on my side. I'm asking Cynthia and also Kiki to help me create an audience. We have potential speakers, but we don't have an audience for this data science webinar. So, okay, good. There's some new activity on it already, and I'll rely on Kiki and Cynthia and myself to create an audience for this webinar. Next part is networking with tech leaders in machine learning and data science. That just happened. Actually, wait. Let me actually edit that. I just ran into Adam while I was looking on LinkedIn, and I reached out to him about how to lead data science teams. There's no updates on that. And the new one, I was reading a Medium article actually on how machine learning is used for search ranking on Airbnb experiences, and I just reached out to all the people who wrote that article. So that just happened earlier today, and hopefully we can get some insights on how the search algorithm works. So that's that. Thank you so much for the minute to share on the Medium article. That's it from my side. Back to the show.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. And Mawayan, and your list is empty, but do you have any updates?
At the moment, actually, become one initiative with Lilis. The card will be in the same with Lilis.
Okay, thank you very much, Mawayan. And you've also put yourself in the card, and that's very good. So yeah, the last one is from my list. The only update I have was that Florian Wetschorek, I guess. He's the creator of PPS, a tool that we used before in RM. He kind of like reached out to me on LinkedIn. Yeah, he said, "Thank you very much for liking my post about PP score." He's the creator of that library basically, and yeah, I'm trying to reach out to him, whether we can have a mentorship session. And I believe this is also very good for non-programmer RM member, because this is a lot of statistics, and this is a very useful and powerful tool. As we've discussed before, it's claimed to be better compared to Pearson correlation, and of course it might be applicable. So yeah, I'm trying to reach out to him. I've sent him a message, and I've also accepted the connection invitation. So that's the only update I have. Okay, so since we're done with the updates for the RM board, actually we went over time because of the discussion at the first phase of the Scrum. And Lilis, do you have to go now, right?
Actually, that's okay because I think I still waiting for my friend.
Okay, okay. So I propose to
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, because my friend is just passed away, so I have to go there
yeah, yeah.
for like a bit while.
Your friend passed away.
Yes, actually, it's like 3 days ago, but I will. I mean, they will be. He will be in cremasi. It is like burning the body.
Yeah, cremated.
I will go.
Oh,
I
wow.
will go.
You didn't need to come in today. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is like before. Tomorrow will be the day, and I will come today.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Just let us know when you have to leave, and absolutely, it's fine if you have to leave, like even now. Okay. Uh, thank you. Maybe you can see the meeting notes.
Okay, actually, I forgot to write the meeting notes because I have.
Okay, okay,
Sorry,
okay.
I
No
was
worries.
stuck with the internet provider regarding Villa Escandar actually. Sorry, Brent, for that.
Okay, no worries, no worries. I think I remember the stuff. I'll write that down in the meeting notes. I'll put myself to the delegation list for that one. Okay, so I propose, what do you call it? I propose to postpone the meeting a little bit, just to have take a look about the tableau stats and discussion.
Yep.
One
I'm okay.
second.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I prepared the tableau stats here. Since it's the month of July, we've seen a lot of initial in-month booking, and our revenue for this month starts at 17.3K, and now we're at 20.462. 20, yeah, 20K. So if we look at the cancellation, actually in the past days, it's very competitive between the booking pace and the cancellation, but overall, the cancellation still overpowers the booking pace. The cancellation usually happens for the month of July, as expected. So it's last minute cancellation most of the time, while the bookings are also mostly last minute for some reason. So yeah, um, for other KPIs, squad revenue growth, we expected that this month, squad two will have more. Wait, will have more. Where's July? Squad 2 will have more revenue than Squad 1, and it's still apparent. And I think the gap is getting bigger. Before, I believe that the gap is less than 1K, but we're seeing that the gap is extends to almost 2K for the difference between the revenue for Squad 2 area property and Squad 1. Yesterday, it was closer, if I remember correctly. So maybe there's a surge in bookings for Squad 2 property. Especially, we're seeing that bookings in Despacito is pacing up, right, Liz?
We also lost
Yeah,
one of the lots, right? We don't have anybody in lot three.
Yes, yes, correct, correct.
lot
I
three. I
think
think lot six has incoming bookings on 10 July 10. I think.
Yay!
But they haven't paid yet because of the rapid test issue. I think, sir.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're trying to decide whether they can get back the down payment
Oh,
if they do not pass the rapid test. So yeah, that thing. Yeah, that's one thing. Another. So yeah, we in the future revenue, we're still expecting to see in the next 6 months. Yeah, there's still a lot of cancellation. We've seen that October used to have like over 20K, but yeah, November is still another deep slope, and I believe it's not it's the normal season. It's the low season, right, for October, November. For weekly bookings, it's pacing. It's increasing, I guess. But for today, which is the 6th of July, because it's only one day since July July 5th. We cannot see it, anything yet. Um, any other insights that you guys picked up prior to the Scrum meeting? Nine. Okay.
No.
So we look at the inquiries and how it scales throughout the property type. Okay, we're seeing that the number of, again, it's apparent that for some reason the number of guest house inquiries is still there for some reason, and also for house. I think, Liz, did you mention any insights for this particular case for inquiries?
Hmm. Uh, 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 yeah, it's basically Atra.
Yeah,
Atra
correct.
is like having much inquiry, but I only see like one booking conversion. One booking for Atra. I already set the price according to market assessment, and I think that's quite good price. But maybe I wonder why it is not converted. So that's basically the basic why I brought why I agree with Jing's now with Tendi because
Yeah, for
yeah.
inquiries conversion. Yeah, correct, correct. Because like as far as I know, Mi Villa, Despacito, and this place are getting bookings. What about Kencana, Lilis?
About Kanchana, um, it's not too many bookings actually. Also, but there's still I mean what is that? Still have um greater booking rather than Accra.
I see, I see. Yeah, maybe one of the issue for the displays that I know is only regarding the uh, partner issue, I guess. So there's one. The last time we heard about there's a complaint from the guest because I think Max, right, sir? Max from the displays. He moved the guest from one room to another because his friend is staying there. So Max claimed that the guest is okay and the guest is happy about that, but the guest complained to us. So that's one issue with the partner. But it's getting booking for, yeah, because it's a pretty strategic place, and we're not seeing bookings for um, being in Ombak yet, despite changing the price to the desired price. And even I put it a little bit lower than I've also discussed with the owner regarding putting the price lower to trigger as a jump start, but it hasn't appeared yet. Uh,
Strange. Yeah.
yeah, because she claimed that the properties around that area are getting bookings, right?
So we should be.
Yeah, and about the follow up to our previous discussion, sir. No worries, Lilis. Noted. About our previous discussion about our members, Bukit Vista members going out to the field. I have seen that there are already movement of on-site movements, right, sir? By
Yep.
Om Rafiq, Katendi, and also Aldo.
Mhm.
Maybe any insights from your end on that part, sir?
I'm gonna go out tomorrow, actually. So tomorrow, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm gonna spend more time in the field. So I'll see what I can see when I get. Oh shit! Sounds like my power's about to cut out. Wait. Hey
Okay.
Google, turn off the fan. Okay,
All right, turning two outlets off.
I heard the power meters beeping. I'll go out and see what I see. Yesterday I did get myself out to Canggu, but it was really empty. So I don't know what that actually means. But yeah, this is more anecdotal data than actual regular data. So we'll be looking at small sample sizes and sort of get a little bit more quality on what's happening. I'll check it out. I'll go to Bingen tomorrow and see what I see.
Right. Thank you very much, sir, for that. So yeah, we're not saying any. It's expected that Despacito will have the most bookings in the particular period that I've chosen. Aura because I believe Lilis is happy with the guest. The guest is very consistent in the payment. The payment is doing well for Aura, and it's expected to be like that for the next few months. Uh, yeah, I think so. So far, we have those kind of bookies, and just me, Villa, and Despacito is really picking up. I believe. Okay, sir. Actually, yeah, that's it for the stats.
No good.
If we may, we can look at the discussion. I believe that we only have several discussion in the discussion management board, right? Okay, so okay, I believe this one, right, sir?
Mm.
Because we discussed the previous ones
Yeah,
from
yeah,
attendees.
yeah. Let's go up to the Toki question. Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, so this toolkit discussion was brought up because I was trying to find out what kind of initiative I'm trying to do for the month of July, uh, other than the initiatives that I'm currently doing. I've asked the customer support regarding the scalability of toolkit, right? So programmatically, we can set the rates. We can set the rates on toolkit programmatically. We can input the CSV file, but then the pushing of rates is the problem, sir. We still have to push them one by one.
Okay.
Yeah, we can create the rate table automatically. We
Right.
can create it because the API doc is there, but there's no API to push the rates.
I see. Okay. So I would say at the moment then that there's a few considerations. Um, one is there any other system that is better? Baby and the bathwater, right? Let's not throw out the baby and the bathwater. So we can't. We would need to have all the same strengths as what Toki offers, with none of the weaknesses, right? And plus this additional strength for us to make a platform change. So the other thing I want to understand, the other thing I want to understand is actually, does Toki plan on creating an API access in the future? Um,
Right.
so if I mean this is SaaS, we're not doing it anyway, and if we move everything off, um, we were actually talking about. Sorry, I just had another thread in my mind. We were talking about moving to Cloudbed at one point, just shortly before this whole thing happened with COVID, because it has representative inventory, which was a feature we really wanted for our listings. But now I don't know actually. So if we can't push rates programmatically, then that slows us down. Toki isn't a perfect channel manager, but it's kind of like the best amongst what is available for a few different reasons. What I understood that Bayou originally chose it, there was three good reasons. One was the price. It was definitely the cheapest, and it offered like a buffet menu, so you could keep on adding more listings, and it wouldn't cost more. That was really good. Two was it could be used on multiple Airbnb profiles, and that didn't work for a lot of channel managers. And three, I forgot what the third reason was, but
Okay. Uh, yeah, I think that's only the bottleneck. But I believe for now it can still work. Perhaps if we don't change the price too much, like not every week or not as often. Um. So yeah, maybe one alternative is actually to kind of like clean up the inventories we have on Toolkit, like maybe putting labels on them to so that we can properly identify them, like based on areas or so on and so forth, or maybe uh, listings that we do not have anymore. We can clean up the channels, those kind of stuff. It'll make operationals easier, but that's just like a quick fix.
sure.
Yeah,
Now's a good time.
yeah, I'll try to think about it more. But yeah, Toolkit is quite handy in some stuff. I believe that in product development we're going to try to use one of its features, which is having HR message everyone through Toolkit as opposed to Airbnb because it's more centralized right there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the only discussion we have actually, and we're over time, but by a lot. Maybe any other discussion from a uh, uh, anybody? Any extra discussion?
Uh, no, actually, but yeah, as we don't have any frequent price changes, yeah, I think we can still use Talkit, and I think Frida can also, what is that? Participate in the pricing. Yep.
Okay.
Only that, Frida. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. What about Frida? Any comments? Have you seen the instructions for Tokit? Like, have you tried operating Tokit before?
Not yet, but I read the material about what is it in my revenue management.
Wait.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, yeah. I believe that it's one of the materials in the RM onboarding process. Okay. Yeah, but I think that's that for Mr. Jing. Any
No,
last
all good.
comments, maybe?
All good.
Before we
Thank
close
you
it?
for bringing us through this journey today. I thought actually, yeah, this was pretty cool. It was good to distinguish between projections and goals, and sort of like one I think is measuring a passive system. The other is challenging an active system. I guess that would be the
Oh
sort
yeah,
of
yeah.
grand takeaway. And the only other thing I have to ask is, Frida, what are you going to do to keep your? Oh wait, actually, Lilith. Actually, Lilith is Frida's buddy, right? What will Frida be doing tomorrow?
Uh, actually, from Ara, from HR side, like I think she has like plan for this 1 week, I guess, yeah, Frida.
Okay.
From the RM, we have supplied the materials actually for what Frida should learn and also do, because we also give instruction inside there, and Frida have to complete it around 1 week, I guess, Frida. Is that true?
I will make sure with Ara. I think yeah. She said 1 week for the onboarding.
Oh, 1 week, yeah. So it's basically after that we will give like some exercise regarding, for example, like pricing, and then maybe like not really delegating, but I also we also put like an exercise for Frida to analyze our Trello board, to identify the weakness and also opportunities that she can brings to the next pivot. Sure.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good.
Um,
Yep.
PD.
Thank you very much for the update, Liz. And yeah, I believe that our onboarding materials is quite a lot. So do your best,
Yeah,
Frida. It's fine.
it's
Think about
not
it.
loud.
If there's anything we can help, it's like let us know, because I've seen the other chapters onboarding materials, and I think RM, yeah, RM, I think needs a lot of basic foundational skill and knowledge regarding the company itself. That's why there's a lot of materials you have to cover. So yeah,
Yeah, don't worry,
what's
Frida.
the
So
schedule in English?
yeah, each
Do your best.
material has the PIC, right? So you feel free to
Yeah,
contact
yeah, yeah.
us to book like our schedule on calendar.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
Yep.
really. I'm happy because I will learn so many things.
Okay. That's good to hear, Frida. Okay, thank you very much. From Waya, maybe any last comment?
Not for me. I think that was it.
Okay. From Frida, all good.
All good. Thank you.
Okay. I guess that's it for the Scrum meeting today. Thank you very much. Sorry